All right, everyone. It must be wonderful to live in a world of make-believe, where the things that you believe in, they're not really real, but, you live in a land of fantasy or something like that. Link in the description archive, of course. Liberals are continuing to pretend that Donald Trump is actually serious about seeking a third term in office. Now, here's my bead on Trump. I like Trump. I think that he's doing a good job. I think that he is doing more than an acceptable job at this time. First term was, well, by comparison, when you compare you to Herbert Walker or something like that, you're doing a really great job. This time around, he's made better hiring choices. He has made more transformative legislation that he has signed into law, passed by Congress, and so forth. So far, so good, basically. Donald Trump is doing, in my opinion, a good job. But there's this weird mythology that his statements about having a third term as president are actually serious. This is not going to be a thing. Um, Even those of us that support Donald Trump, by and large, would not support a third Trump term. We've already had this problem once before in the United States, namely, and this is a hilarious irony, with FDR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who famously, in 1942, incepted the East Wing that has now since been demolished by Donald Trump. He's the only person who has ever served more than 2 terms as President of the United States. The idea that Donald Trump seriously is considering the concept of serving a third term, it wouldn't work. It's unconstitutional, so that's a little bit of a problem. It also would be unwarranted. It also would be rejected by the public. So when liberals, again, like link in the description, are fantasizing about Donald Trump being some sort of evil, tyrannical, dictatorial figure, and trying to seek, infinite power, and he's going to be in office forever. He's going to destroy the republic. That's just a fantasy, dude. You're literally dreaming. I think you might be hallucinating at some points. He's not going to seek a goddamn third term. He's also too old to seek a third term. There's no possibility whatsoever that Donald Trump continues in his presidential role after the current term that he is currently in. There is no possibility. 0% chance. It's not going to happen. Even those of us that like what Trump is doing, we wouldn't support it. So don't worry too much about it. Your crazy communist revolution, your plans will probably have to be put aside because the situation in which you could pop off is never actually going to happen at all. Trump is not power man. As I've explained, he's already gotten everything that he could possibly want. He has the Triple Crown already. He is famous. He's known around the world. He was before he was president, by the way. He is massively wealthy. He's worth several billion dollars. That's his net worth. Of course, most of it's in property, but at the same time, it brings a continuing income of hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I loved that time when Rachel Maddow got a hold of one of his tax, forms. And she's like, well, he's not actually a billionaire. He only made 300 million this year. Of course, assuming that your audience does not understand how wealth works. That was hilarious. So he already had those. Then he became president. And the only thing that he could improve upon would be to be reelected, a two-termer instead of a one-termer. Well, he's already accomplished that. In fact, it was non-consecutive terms, so actually that makes it actually a bit more impressive. Donald Trump already has everything that he could possibly ever want. There's nothing more to be accomplished. In fact, I kind of feel sorry for him because when you get to the point where there's no more mountains to climb, it must be a sad and lonely feeling on some level. But he's accomplished it. He managed to be he's the dream kid of the United States. He's almost a symbol of America in and of itself. This is not, by the way, some form of emperor worship or something like that. It's just acknowledging somebody who came from, reasonable means. I mean, he was never poor or anything like that, but he worked himself up to the point where he became the most powerful person in the world several times over. I think that that deserves to be credited in some case. I do not believe that rambling about Donald Trump seeking a third term, trying to become the American dictator, that's bullshit. It's never going to happen. So these people at this point have been reduced to fantasizing as opposed to looking at reality for the way it really is. There are problems in the country right now. For example, in a few days, SNAP benefits are probably going to end. I believe it is a mistake by Donald Trump not to dip into discretionary spending to continue that program. The reason is partially just political pragmatism, because the Democrats are definitely going to blame him and say, well, it's the Trump shutdown, even though it's not, but they will be successful in this particular endeavor. I believe that they will be. So he has made mistakes, but overall, the presidency has been good. A dictator, a tyrant, does not attempt to secure more free speech for the people in their nation. That will never happen. They do not attempt to protect their borders. Tyrants typically do not attempt to hold back quite deliberately when people are attempting to antagonize them. Donald Trump is no dictator. He's no tyrant. He's an individual who does make mistakes, and sometimes I have disagreed with the things that he's done. Mostly, though, he has done a good job, and he deserves credit for that. This is not a form of worship, as liberals often castigate it as. It's not that I think that Donald Trump is, oh, the best man in the world. He's God Emperor. Bullshit. No, but he's doing a good job. And he's not going to seek a fucking third term. Are you fucking crazy? Nobody would tolerate that. Even most people who voted for Donald Trump, I am one of them, would never tolerate Donald Trump attempting to seek a third term. It's never going to happen. If anything, you're going to get J.D. Vance probably as your next president. The Democrats are so scattered at this point, I don't think that he really has any opposition. Except within his own party. Of course, you might have a primary, of course. That's entirely possible. I don't think that the Democrats can really swing it, though. It's very, very funny to see them play make-believe, though, and act like Donald Trump is actually seriously seeking a third term. His tongue-in-cheek references to, hey, maybe J.D. Vance can win, and then he'll hand me the presidency. It's all a joke. It's a form of humor. He's not actually going to do that. Nobody would tolerate it. He would never bother to attempt it. It wouldn't be tolerated by the military. It wouldn't be, he'd immediately be removed from office, leaving probably a Democrat, former House Speaker, as the person that's actually in charge. By the way, again, it would be unconstitutional. Yes, there are term limits for the presidency. The last time that a president actually sought more than 2 terms was socialist Franklin Delano Roosevelt, ironically the one that incepted the East Wing that just got demolished. Keep that in mind when liberals are talking about this issue. There was one president who decided to go over the 2 term limit. It happened to be the Democrat Party socialist, bitter cripple cousin fucker. That's about all. Peace out.